forget about the herbs, y'all, because this is how I started. I started sharing about the herbs and all the things and the love and light. And really though, like, we really got to get deep down. You're going to use some herbs. Trust me. You're going to utilize herbs. But we have to get to a place where we understand frequency, where we understand energy, where we understand why, okay, you have an abortion. You made the decision to have that. But what happens after that? And why? Why did you do that? We got to go through the genome. What does that mean? The womb genome is your womb history. It's the bloodline. It's the women that's been in your, it's the matriarchy. It's all the women in your family, the aunts. Like, you got your mother, you got your father, right? And then your father has sisters and brothers, and your mother has sisters and brothers. Those are your aunts and uncles, right? Your uncles ain't got no wombs, I get it. But they are participating, right, with insemination, with sperm. So what's happening with them spiritually, energetically? Are they healthy? Were they healed before they produced? Okay, so that's one thing. It's like we have access to abortions. We have access to abortions, and then also we are experiencing miscarriages, and we are still giving birth, but we gotta actually get into the womb genome. That's what I'll be teaching. I'm going to be teaching structured learning about womb healing from now on. And it's going to be where you're filling out things. You're talking to your family. It's going to be interactive. It's not going to be just like me teaching, blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to actually go and speak to, I'm going to give you questions. You're going to go speak to your aunt. You're going to speak to your uncles. You're going to speak to your cousins. Are there women in your family that are infertile? And how many women are infertile? How many times do you see infertility in that chart, in that womb genome? Okay, how many times do you see domestic violence in your womb genome? What is womb genome again? This is the history of your bloodline. And then you can specify it, and because I'm a womb worker, I'm creating the actual organ structured sheets where you're going to get to fill it out and see what is going on in this bloodline of mine. What is going on with the women in my bloodline, with the women in my lineage? Why are they all infertile? Why are they all, it appeared that they chose not to have children, but did they? Or were they infertile? See, you got to go talk to them too. If you can, if you have access and y'all cool, you need to go speak to your family. That's where we at right now. Y'all gonna have to go talk to your families, all right, and get the information. I remember when, right before my mother died, oh, hold on, sorry. I had to pause real quick because I think my Bluetooth was connected to downstairs. Okay, so I remember, y'all, when before my mother died, I asked her, right? I got into the information. I got what I needed to get. I didn't get everything, but I got what I needed to get. Let me tell you how this rolls. Excuse me, I'm thirsty. Then let me tell you what I asked my mother, y'all. I was breaking it down. I was like, what's going on? Like, what happened to you when you was growing up with your dad, with your mother? She told me, because now I get to see perspective. I get to see why she behaved the way that she behaved all her life, and why she was a very good mother financially and or like physically, but there was no emotional connection. So I wanted to know, right? And so she explained to me, for one, that my grandmother was abused. My grandmother was abused. So when you go down this genome that I'm going to be providing, you're going to learn, right, what happened to your grandmother when she was, hopefully when you're going to find out some deep inner workings, like when she was carrying your mother in her womb, what happened to her? Was she being abused? Right? Was there domestic violence in your family? Was your grandfather a good man? Was that good semen, or was that toxic semen implanted in her? And then, mind you, you are a seed in her ovary. You're a seed in your mother's ovary while your mother is in your grandmother's womb. Okay? And so that means that y'all connected. Y'all been connected for years. Right? If your mother is 60, you've been connected to your grandmother way beyond past her actual age, even if she was alive. Right? Since her birth. And so it goes deep. It goes really deep. So you got to understand how these women in your bloodline felt when they were carrying your cousins, when your grandmother was carrying your mother again. So you got to ask them questions. If they're still alive, it's not too late, y'all. This is where we at right now. Otherwise, if we don't get the answers, we can't change. If we don't know our history, how are we going to manifest? How are we going to, live a positive or like a blissful life? Right? It's not going to happen. We got to get deep. Right? We have to know our history, because history erases the mystery. The mystery, the guesswork. We have to stop guessing and like living this life of non-accountability.